Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are embarking on a truly immersive, sensory journey right into the heart of Hadramaut. Historically, this region has been known as Happy Yemen, and we're going to follow in the footsteps of a traveler, discovering its hidden architectural and cultural marvels. We're going to experience daily life in these ancient cities, explore some incredibly dramatic mountain valleys, and uncover the rich history of a land that quite literally helped shape global trade.
To kick things off, I want you to consider a pretty fascinating question. What if the world's very first skyscrapers were actually made out of mud? It's a mind-blowing premise, right? It speaks to ancient survival, adapting to your geography, and just sheer human ingenuity. So before we really dive into all the vibrant sights, the sounds, and the tastes of this historic region, keep that concept of ancient soaring mud architecture in the back of your mind.
Now, to really wrap our heads around Hadramaut, we first have to recognize its massive historical gravity. Just looking at this timeline, you can see Yemen wasn't just some random dot on the map. We're talking about a thriving, deeply complex civilization that existed thousands of years before America was even a thought. From the legendary kingdom of Sheba to the ancient Hadramaut and Himyarite kingdoms, and straight through the flourishing states of the Middle Ages, Yemen has this incredibly layered history of trade and influence that you can still feel pulsing through its modern streets today.
All right, let's start our spatial journey inland, right in the bustling city of Sayun. Almost instantly upon arrival, you're greeted by this absolute marvel, the Palace of Sayun. It is officially recognized as the largest mud building in the entire world. I mean, just imagine seeing that as your welcome sign. It gives us our very first breathtaking taste of the region's legendary clay architecture and perfectly sets the scale for what we're about to see.
Okay, let's get into the sights and smells. In Sayun, the early morning markets are just this absolute hub of energy. And nothing represents that better than preparing the famous dish, mandi. Cooking authentic mandi is a huge, highly orchestrated daily operation. By 7 a.m., locals are burying massive quantities of meat in these hot, underground ovens, all marinated in a secret, generation-old spice blend. Then, they do something visually stunning, straining massive amounts of rice using what they describe as a roaring hot water jacuzzi waterfall. It is a culinary spectacle that feeds hundreds of locals every single day.
Beyond the savory stuff, the markets of Sayun are just overflowing with these unique, hyper-local goods. You'll see traders selling heaps of al-hanzal melon seeds, but honestly, the real star of the show is the sidr honey. Known globally as liquid gold, it's widely considered the world's finest honey. It's harvested from sidr trees in the stunning Wadi Duan, and get this, it's guarded by these fiercely defensive bees that will literally fight to the death to protect their hive from intruders.
And you want to know how healthy that honey actually is? Well, in Hadramaut, you can meet a local historian who is a staggering 106 years old. This guy witnessed both world wars, he still drives his car without glasses, and he attributes his incredible longevity and strong immune system to one very strict daily routine: eating exactly 7 dates from Medina every single morning, followed by a spoonful of that precious Hadramati sidra honey. That's his secret.
Leaving Sayun, we traveled just 15 minutes away to a place that is absolutely going to blow your mind. It's called Shibam, beautifully nicknamed the Manhattan of the desert. Now, modern steel skyscrapers like the ones you'd see in New York were built relatively recently for urban density, right? But Shibam's mud skyscrapers, they were built over 600 years ago, rising up to 15 floors high. And it wasn't just to look cool, it was pure geographic necessity. They literally had to build upward to escape the devastating floods that regularly wash through the valley.
And what's super fascinating is that those tight geographic constraints didn't just shape the buildings. They forged a deeply interconnected community. As one local beautifully puts it, living concentrated behind a single defensive wall to keep the floods out means their joys and sorrows are truly shared as one. When you're all living together in these towering mud structures, you operate like one giant supportive family.
So let's head over to Tarim and see how this builds into an incredible mountain valley culture. Tarim is famously known as the capital of Islamic culture. It boasts an astonishing 400 mosques and features the world's largest clay minaret. But it's also a massive artistic hub. It's the birthplace of Al-Dan, which is this unique, mesmerizing musical humming art that echoes a deep cultural history stretching from before and after the dawn of Islam.
In Tarim, you get to experience these deeply rooted customs firsthand. It's a place of such profound hospitality that expats from all over the world, places like South Africa and Germany, come to study Arabic and, honestly, just never leave.
The etiquette is beautiful. Locals serve vibrant Bakari tea in multiple rich colors. To honor their Bedouin roots, they carefully pour coffee with their left hand so they can serve it to you with their right. And when you're done, you just give the cup a subtle little shake to politely signal you've had enough. It's this open-door culture that instantly makes complete strangers feel like family.
Scaling way up from there, we head into Wadi Dawan to encounter the breathtaking hanging villages of Al Hajrain. These homes are suspended at an altitude of 950 meters. Again, geography completely dictates the architecture here. To avoid those intense valley floods below, they built their homes right on the edge of the mountain highlands. They even built these incredible sky bridges connecting family homes high above the ground. It literally looks like a floating island in the sky.
From those soaring, arid mountains, our documentary journey takes us all the way down to the coast, arriving in the bustling city of Mukalla. This is the coastal capital of Hadramaut and its historic gateway to the world. Being a major port on the Arabian Sea, moving here represents a radical shift. The entire diet, the daily rhythms, the whole atmosphere pivots from isolated mountain valleys to relying entirely on the vast, rich ocean right at their doorstep. And naturally, that coastal geography completely dictates the local flavors. We swap out that mountain honey for quash, a highly popular morning street food made of seasoned fish and shark entrails that locals eat for a massive protein and energy boost. They literally call it Yemeni caviar. You'll also find laksh, a distinctive dried shark meat, huge communal platters of sayadiyya seafood, and for breakfast, al-bahmari, this delicious fried dough that is just perfectly paired with a steaming cup of hot milk tea.
Speaking of a hot cup in the morning, let's talk about tangawizi. It's a Swahili-influenced coffee originating from Kenya and Tanzania, brewed up with almonds, sesame, ginger, and red sugar. Now, why does this matter? Because a simple cup of morning tangawizi coffee is the perfect micro to macro pivot for understanding Yemen. It reveals these incredible, far-reaching historical connections, showing us just how closely tied Hadramaut has been to the African coast across the sea.
And honestly, that Swahili connection, it's just the tip of the iceberg. As Hadramawti merchants traveled the earth, they didn't just trade goods. They established major international banks and massive global companies. They spread Islamic teachings and morals to millions worldwide. They held prominent scientific, religious, and political positions globally, and they cross-pollinated food and culture through an absolutely massive trade network. The global economic and cultural impact of the Hadramawti people is just staggering.
Traveling just a bit further down the coast to the city of Ashir, the history of defense and local pride really comes alive in their traditional art. Here we find the Idida dance, this thumping, powerful military stick dance. Historically, the people of Ashir used this very dance to celebrate their victory after defeating invading Portuguese forces. Today, it remains a vibrant display of unity, and you'll see it widely celebrated at local weddings.
So, where does Yemen stand today? Well, despite the heavy toll of conflict that usually dominates the headlines, the demographic reality is striking. 70% of Yemen's population is under 30 years old. It is a remarkably young nation. And what you actually find on the ground is a youth demographic that is incredibly resilient, just overflowing with hope, thirsty for work, and desperate to introduce the world to the bright, progressive side of their country.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer today and leaves us pondering one really big final thought. Will the wisdom of this ancient happy land culminate in reconciliation to show the world its bright side once again? As we've seen through its towering mud skyscrapers, its bustling coastal markets, its incredible global legacy, and its deeply hospitable people, the enduring spirit of happy Yemen is undeniable. It leaves us hoping for the very bright future that these resilient young people are so eager to build.